What is going on, everybody? It's Grand here with another video. Thanks for popping in. Today I wanted to talk about the future, and namely this trap that I think it would be good for a lot of people to avoid, which is to sort of get so anxious and worked up about the future that you justify not doing anything at all in the present, and thus ensuring the ruin of your future. So let me elaborate. Many years I spent worrying about the future. I convinced myself that the world was a fragile place, that things were bound for chaos and collapse, and that striving for the future was some sort of fool's endeavor, and everything was bound to fall apart anyway. So, what's the point? And while I think that may have a few kernels of truth to it, if you are paying attention, things are obviously getting a little bit wilder out there as time goes on. I want to talk about today why I believe this mentality is one of the most destructive patterns of thinking one can adopt. This mentality, which I think is encouraged by the media, by the Matrix, it only serves to make you a rudderless, anxiety-ridden person, fit to do really nothing but consume and power the machine. You see, when you decide to adopt this mentality, you're foregoing your motivation to work towards a better future. You think, basically, it's all going to fall apart, I'm going to get hurt, something bad is going to happen, whatever. And this fear keeps people from doing what I believe is the best thing a human being can do, which is working towards a better future or building something. This is basically the most natural activity we take part in. And because of all the anxiety that's kind of pushed on us daily, all of this doom and gloom, everything's falling apart, it neuters that desire to engage in this building process, because it seems like it's going to all be for naught, right? You look at like older civilizations, or not even older civilizations, just look at like farming or something, for example. It's a lot of work done in the moment for sort of with the knowledge that a day is coming where the things you're doing now are going to pay off big time, and that it's necessary, right? It would be strange if the farmer just, instead of planting the seeds and putting in the work to grow the crops, he just ate all the seeds, and because that covered him for a couple days or something, and then all of a sudden the seeds are gone and nothing's growing. That would be insanity, right? But that's what a lot of people are doing. If you don't believe that the future will come, what kind of person do you turn into? You become someone that just lives for short-term pleasure and highs. And because tomorrow is not figuratively coming, right? Why should you not just try to extract the maximum amount of pleasure from today? It's like, so what if you don't have much money at all in the bank account, right? Like, you got a little bit, so let's just spend what, we do have. Let's spend what we do have on like McDonald's and crack or something, right? So at least you'll have a good time tonight. You'll have a good time. You'll feel good in the immediate. But, what happens after that sort of short-term pleasure binge where you're like, whatever, the whole world's going to crap, I might as well just have fun right now because tomorrow's not going to come, right? What happens after that? What happens after that is 99.5% of the time, tomorrow does come. And even though you've convinced yourself it wouldn't come, it does come. And usually it's going to come again and again and again. And eventually 10 years have gone by. And what you've done to yourself by believing the future will not come is you've set yourself up to be a skillless, moneyless sort of drone of a person. And maybe now, it is a little more clear why I'd say like the media likes to encourage this fear, because this type of lost person is the perfect model of citizen for the powers that be. If you don't have any skills, you don't have any money or connections or very little, because you've been paralyzed by this fear and you haven't been making any moves, you become controllable to a much greater degree than someone who does possess a decent amount of like specialized skills. And now you have little choice but to go work for like this soulless corporation or just some sort of dead-end job which isn't going to have any issue just using you and discarding you. So that's a bit of a tangent. The important thing we should ask is, what can we do? The first step is you need to start to begin to believe tomorrow will come. Even though we've sort of convinced ourselves it won't, tomorrow will come. I see so much of this sentiment going around that we need to live like there's no tomorrow. And I respect that message, but I believe it's kind of been misconstrued. And now instead of like living each day fully, we've sort of been living each day fearfully. I just read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle recently, and while I do agree that all we really have at any given moment is the present moment, I believe that the true expression of being in the moment is being calm and rational and slowly, perhaps, but surely, working towards a more fulfilling, a better future. Don't fret about the future, because I think that's what a lot of people do. That's the kind of the point of this video. Don't fret, but realize that you do need to be building something. You do need to be expanding and growing. A very important realization that I made is that we really have no choice but to be on what I like to call the path. And the path is what you should be doing, simply doing what you should be doing. The path, it won't always be comfortable, but you walk the path, as harsh as it is. Sometimes you'll just begin to start to feel this sort of inner glow, this peace of mind. This peace comes from knowing that you're doing the right thing. You're doing the activity which will help you become a more capable version of yourself. Many times people think that they can avoid the work that they need to do to make themselves better and instead engage in like short-term pleasure activities, and that these pleasure activities it'll be an equivalent substitute for the feeling of peace you have when you're on the path. But there is really no substitute for that feeling. It is just it's a feeling of wellness that even though you might be toiling away, even though you might be like on your hands and knees scrubbing some floor or something like that, there's like this inner feeling of joy. It might suck a lot of the time, but every now and then you'll kind of maybe catch yourself smiling because it's like you're doing the right thing. So there's no substitute. It boils down to this. Think about the next 10 years from this point forward. Either you're going to actually die somehow, your fears are true, and you're going to go out tomorrow and you're going to get smacked by a semi or something like that. In that case, nothing really matters anyway, right? You're dead, and you're not going to have any of this time to ruminate on how, it all actually didn't matter and I should have just been doing crack. Why did I spend so much of my time, working when I could have just been doing crack? You're going to be dead. You're not going to be able to ruminate on that. So it's not going to matter anyway. But the most likely option is that the time is going to go by. And assuming it will go by, which it likely will, you can either choose to follow the path and create a better life for yourself, or you can just continue to waste your days away, never growing or learning anything new. And, you might think that you're having a good time, but let me tell you, this aimless freedom and this wasting time and this engaging in degeneracy day after day, it's just not going to lead you to the life you likely desire. I can't say for sure, but all this stuff after a certain point, it's like this weird deal with the devil. It's like you're doing all this stuff that seems kind of fun, but inside you're just growing like more and more like just decrepit and hollow, and it's not good. Instead, surrender to the uncontrollable nature of life. Surrender to the majesty of life, and show up each day, plug away, do what you can do, which you'll probably, oftentimes find is more than you'd think. But also worry not about what you cannot control, and just begin to walk the path. And what you're going to find out, and the important thing is, it's really the only option that you have. Everything else is going to lead you astray. Everything else is some form of self-sabotage. Everything else is going to result in a subpar life. If you're not chasing the reality that you want, what's the point? Really, what's the point? It's worth it. It's worth making sacrifices, quote unquote sacrifices for. And yeah, guys, I think that's it. I think that's it for the video today. I really appreciate you guys listening. Let me know your thoughts, and like and subscribe, please, as one must say. And also, you can follow me on Twitter at DecidedYetFree. That would be great. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you all later. Adios.